Demon Slayer Season 3, Episode 2 just came out, and I swear to God, the Mist Hashira hates Tanjiro with all of his being. The Mist Hashira seems like the type of dude that he's trying to do his own thing, and he just doesn't want anyone to get in his way. And all of these characters are trying to mess with him. Kid from the Swordsmith Village, he was just like, you're here to do one job, and that's to build a sword. Which, when you think about it, in essence, at the end of the day, is what they're there to do, is to build swords. And Tanjiro, of course, is gonna bug out over someone saying that. Tanjiro's over here slapping the Mist Hashira's hand, like, brother, the Mist Hashira can kill you in an instant, man. Like, we learned so much about so many different characters here, and you really have to pay attention to the smaller details in this episode, so let's get into it. So the Mist Hashira, he is clearly the cold-blooded type. He is there to do his job and become as strong as possible, and we don't know why just yet, but you can tell he has a sad backstory just like Tanjiro. Like when he was getting the backstory from the crow, he learning that he has a much harsher life than it may seem, and that's why he is the way he is, as well as the fact that the crow was like, brother, like, you cannot touch this dude. He is one of the strongest Hashira, even for the Hashira level. What the Mist Hashira was doing, he was trying to get the mechanical doll working so he could start training. So you have to think, if the Mist Hashira is looking for training, what is that going to do to Tanjiro? Because you have to think, Tanjiro up to this point in the story really hasn't taken down a really powerful demon on his own fully yet. Where Rui, it was a little bit strange. He did take him down, but then Giyu landed the final blow. Obviously, he didn't do anything to Akaza. And then he was pretty useful against Gutaro. That was real. I feel like that was a real 50-50 effort. But Tengen did do a lot of the heavy lifting there too. So it's needed for Tanjiro to level up. And then eventually, the Swordsmith kid is like, I'm not going to fix this doll, and I don't know how to fix this doll. Of course, in typical anime fashion, as soon as he leaves, they get the doll working, and Tanjiro is just going to work, and you can see him leveling up, because you have the opening thread, which was a big way he landed his attacks before, and how he leveled up in that sense. And now he's getting this new sensation. It almost feels like more of a calmer, more intelligent, and more cerebral way of going about a battle, and he's realizing how to analyze patterns more in his fights. And I think it really, like I was saying, is needed. Just what a normal pattern trend, when the upper moon, whoever the upper moon is of this arc eventually shows up, it's going to need a lot more of Tanjiro doing the heavy lifting, because we've seen him get carried up to this point, and I think it's about time that he's the one dealing out the damage. But like I was saying, the Mist Hashira cannot stand anybody. He just hates humans. It seems like he hates the world. That kid, that bars he was dropping on that kid was honestly, he was speaking facts. Like, at the end of the day, it is on the swordsmith to build the good swords, but then Tanjiro is sitting there and trying to get this duality going. They're trying to be this parallel of like, oh, but we can't be demon slayers if they don't build us the swords. Without them, what are we gonna do? Mist Hashira is like, yeah, but without us, who's gonna kill the demons, right? So the Mist Hashira, but he also at the same time seems like he's not the type to really combat anyone's opinions. He's really just there to get stronger and do what he has to do. He seems like the type, though, that when he starts throwing down, I cannot wait to see how they animate his fights. It's going to be super crazy. When they expand on Yorichi, you can tell that they're alluding to some connection there with him and Tanjiro, because clearly, in terms of design, in terms of the hair, the earrings, it just makes sense, right? Speaking on the series going further, it really seems like the kid from the village as a way to replace Zenitsu in a sense, because you can tell that when they were writing it, they really know that without Zenitsu and Inosuke, there needs to be some comic relief, and that kid kind of seems like he's there, as well as they're giving him some character depth, like he really wants to prove himself and be of use, and him and Tanjiro are obviously going to have a wholesome connection there, but that seems to be the real concern, and I feel like in the anime version compared to the manga, they're really going to add in more blatant ways, and maybe more scenes of funny scenes, and just crazy scenes for Inosuke, because without that complex, like Demon Slayer isn't Demon Slayer without those three characters. So it's going to be a real challenge for them this arc, but it seems like they have the situation handled. Now, it's pretty weird doing these videos because I hate being one of those guys that like pretends to not know what's going to happen, but I kind of just speak my opinion on what the anime is doing, because they definitely can take things differently, and just animation and stuff, so it's really more of a reaction than it is predicting the future, because that'd be kind of weird. But if you enjoyed this video, leave a like. We're just getting started. We'll stay consistent, and I'll see you in the next video. Let me know if you want more Demon Slayer.